Hello, beautiful souls. It's Lisa Driver, and you can find me at lisadriver1111.com, where I help spiritual, self-aware women to open up to that spirituality and to self-care, which leads me to this video today. Now, I'm going to be highlighting exercises from my books as well as using some cards over the next couple weeks to drill home some of the messages found in my books. And today I'm going to be referencing opening up. Now, the great thing about my books is because they're full of exercises and guidance, and as well as my personal story and my personal journey, you can flip them open at any time and find the exact guidance you're needing. So this is what I did just before pressing record on this video, and just intended that the message was for everybody watching and that it would resonate with you. You can see I've marked it with a little beautiful feather. And upon glancing at it before I started recording, it's really funny because the book is about intuition and welcoming in your angels, but the page that I flipped to, which if you have the book is page 76, is all about self-care and learning to say no and filling your bucket, which of course is what my third book, Boundaries and Bucket Filling, is all about. And that's this beauty right here. You can find both of them on Amazon, Chapters Indigo, on my website, lisadriver1111.com, or driverworks.ca, of course, if you want your copies. But if you have my book and you've opened it up to 76, it talks a lot about how learning to say no is crucial, especially if you have kids like me or are an empath, a sensitive giver. And so many of us sensitive souls, we give and give and give, and we really suck at saying no. I wrote in opening up, it's why I'm writing another book about it, an entire book about it, because we need to learn this if we're going to take care of ourselves and make the impact and difference that we need to make in the world. And that's the season that I'm in right now. That's why I haven't been on YouTube for a couple weeks. I've really just been forced to slow down with illness and injury. And it's all about really tuning in and figuring out what your body, mind, and spirit need. And sometimes those things are different, right? Sometimes the body does need rest, but the mind is going a million miles a minute. But while you're resting, make those to-do lists, right? While you're resting, meditate, calm it, quiet it, listen to it, trust that guidance, make those notes so that when you're rested and feeling better, you can take inspired action, right? Just because we're forced to physically rest doesn't mean that we can't accomplish anything. And this is the big thing. I've been talking to a lot of people. They're just like, oh, so you're hermiting. And it's kind of, I'm working on book number 4, and I'm really pulling back quite a bit with my offerings, just doing one-on-ones and groups, and focusing on writing and building my speaking business. But I'm also planning and getting excited for the spring and looking forward to my book launch and tweaking my website and writing a few blogs behind the scenes and still actively participating on social media and sending prayers and intentions. So do you see where I'm going with this? And that's what I really am getting from this passage today, where it's like, the more you say no and really say yes to yourself, the more you can accomplish. And the more you accomplish with clarity and focus, the more powerful it is. Otherwise, you're sort of just running around like a chicken with your head cut off. And even though you're checking things off your to-do list, you feel like you've accomplished nothing at the end of the day. How many of you can relate to that? I know that happens to me quite often on occasion, just to get through the day, and you feel that you've done so much, but you feel like you haven't accomplished anything of real meaning. And that's because maybe some of those to-do lists aren't feeding your soul. And I get it. I get that you have to, for me, it's like feed the kids, bath them, keep them alive, listen to their stories, right? Some of that stuff doesn't necessarily feed my soul all the time. But when I do have that pocket for self-care, that time for myself, what am I filling that with? Are you just zoning out and watching TV? Are you just playing a game on your phone? Are you just mindlessly eating? What are you doing that's really nurturing your mind, body, and spirit? And what can you do this week to nurture your mind, body, and spirit? That's the challenge. So let's get to a couple cards, because I do want to bring in some cards today, and just to kind of drill home the message. And that's why I love working with the cards when it comes to my coaching and when it comes to those private readings. It's really to reiterate where you're at and to reaffirm the messages that are already coming through, not only for you, but for me when I'm coaching you. So Magical Fairies deck, it's always good when the weather turns a little bit cold, as it has. to tune into this springtime, the springy feel of the fairies. So we're going to shuffle the deck here and set aside 2 cards and the bottom card as well. And then you guys can pick a card, whichever one you're guided to, intuitively knowing that they're both probably going to have a resonant message and feed off of each other. I'm going to start with this one here. So we've got healing, healed, healer. And it talks a lot about healing energy. And you can see this beautiful angel what she's doing is sending healing energy down to this healer. And they're expanding that white light together. But this person has to be open to help, asking for help, learning to say no, asking for that guidance, tuning in, right? Knowing that you can only help people, as I was saying, when you've helped yourself. Otherwise, you're empty. You can't pour from an empty bucket. That's why my book's called Bucket Filling, because you need a full bucket so that you can help people, okay? And that's what this card's all about. I also love the purple because I do feel like they're asking you to tune in and get that inspired guidance that you need. The other card, this is kind of cool, is love life. So this is not only for some people watching it all about romantic life and really keeping their heart open to those in their life that they're either dating or engaged to or married to or partnered with, but also about loving your life. Love your life. Love what's going on. Be bright, be fun, have a great time. Love getting out of bed every day. And yes, those monotonous tasks, but if you do them with great joy, right? Then, or at least great intention, then it helps you love your life a lot easier and a lot more. Really cool message. Bottom card as an exclamation. Winter. Yes, couldn't have come at a better time. Honestly, we've been so snowy. Me and the girls were in Regina this weekend dropping some books off and doing some book promotion and just seeing family. And we got so much snow. It was just crazy. And it was so cold. And it was like just overnight. But it also reminds me that that's the season that's coming, and winter is about really going within, really hibernating. I wrote about this after my last podcast, and if you haven't checked it out, episode 2 is now posted, about taking that time to go within and to listen, and that stillness that comes with that beautiful snow up here in Canada, that beauty, that shimmering beauty. And if you don't have snow, if you're watching from a place that don't have snow, first of all, lucky you. Second of all, you're still in the season of fall, which is when the trees are starting to turn inward. The plants are starting to turn inward and die off so that they can hibernate for this cold season ahead. And by doing so, you really do let go of what's no longer serving you and sort of make space for those shorter days, that limited time for yourself and your own inspiration. So let me know how you're going to do that. Let me know how you're going to ask for help, what you're looking to welcome more of into your life, and what you can say no to. I know this is a question that I pose quite often, but it's an important one. As a sensitive soul, you need to constantly be decluttering, like just staying on top of it, because you can declutter once, but if you don't really address the root of it and really get to your motivations, then it's just going to keep compounding time and time again, right? And so you've got to kind of stay on top of it and make sure when you look at your schedule, it's full of things that bring you joy, or at least are serving your higher purpose. They're serving your goals. And like I said, sometimes those goals are to be a great mom, and that includes things like flu shots and diaper changes and, the less glamorous side of life, right? And sometimes it is to be a huge successful entrepreneur. So that includes the daily grind of putting in the time and the effort to build your business. But this is where the angels are saying, get your motivation straight, because maybe you want that, but you're not willing to sacrifice and to fill your calendar with those things. And that's okay. Maybe your mind, body, and spirit are asking something different of you. That's a really important message I think someone needed to hear today. So I'm sending you lots of love. I will see you next week. I am hoping to get back to doing weekly videos now that my body is a little more healed and I've made a little more space in my own calendar and in my own life. And just sending you lots of light and love, you guys. We'll see you soon. Namaste.